Purchasing an investment property is a risk, but how do you manage those risks? I'm here with Joanne Danckwardt of One Agency JD Property Agents. And Joanne, how do we manage the risk when it comes to investment properties? Because it's not a zero risk strategy.
Yes, correct. And a lot of the time people don't consider the risk that comes with the property. Like we think about financial risk because that's talked about quite a bit, but it's actually, having a property which you need to make sure is safe for a tenant.
Yes.
It's super important that the building complies.
Yes.
That it's kept reasonably up to date with the changes of the requirements within legislation. And that you've got insurances to, cover yourself. But it's really, really important to ensure the safety of everybody. Not only just tenants, but also anybody that goes onto that property. Trades as well, they have to go on. So that's where your insurance comes in and making sure that you've got building insurance on the place. So that is something that a lot of people don't really consider. Everybody considers the financial risk, the managing of the debt and the cash flow. And if you are highly leveraged, which it can be very problematic because sometimes properties drop in value and sometimes rental incomes drop as well. And there's not always growth. And people don't really always think about that. They think that there can be, and particularly when we've had such so much prosperity over a number of years, which we really have. It's hard for people. Some people have never experienced it, and so you have to be aware. Regularly track your property's cash flow, ensuring the rental income is aligned, and does it help cover your mortgage repayments. I think that's a really key thing too before you even get into buying an investment, is to know that mortgage is going to be higher than what your repayments are. A lot of people don't really think about that enough. They don't know how much rental money they're going to get and how much their mortgage repayments are going to be. But there's always a gap, and then there's an even further gap when there's maintenance that needs to be done. So I can't stress that enough, that you need to put money away for regular maintenance on the properties that you're buying. The only time you don't have to worry about that is if you buy brand new. And not everybody has that opportunity to do that. So it's super, super important that you take those things into consideration. You also need to know about legislation changes. It's so important that you keep up to date with rental laws. There's some stuff that's coming out that the government wants to bring in, which will be quite difficult to handle for landlords and for property managers. But you need to be aware of it. You cannot put your head in the sand. That won't work. You need to know what's going on. You need to know taxation law as well. You need to know what your obligations are. You need to understand about capital gains tax, negative gearing, tax deductions, what's available. So this is where the experts come into it. Your accountant is super important. The lawyer is also important. Your property manager is important because they know a lot of stuff too that can help you in this area. And you must try and keep on top of what the local government is doing and what changes they're looking at bringing in. You could have a property, and if you're not keeping your ear to the ground and keeping aware of what's going on and what the government is doing, or roads. They could change like the Princess Highway here, 2 lanes each way. They could change that to 3 lanes each way, and that might mean that you've got a road right at your doorstep. So you need to be aware of what zoning and development regulations are happening. Also, there can be some changes to zonings. So a zoning can change, and that will possibly affect your floor space ratio, and it can make your property more valuable, or it can decrease the value as well. So you need to be aware of those things. Market fluctuations, keep talking about that. So you've really got to do your market research. And one of the things that people don't talk about a lot is just diversification. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you look to diversify. There's that most people are really comfortable with. But there's also industrial opportunities to purchase industrial units and commercial spaces and office spaces, and there are some real benefits to that. A lot of people don't know enough about that and they don't feel comfortable, but look into it, because there's some great opportunities there, and you don't want to miss out on that, because you could get better returns from that. We've spoken about interest rates before and borrowing costs, so make sure you understand your mortgage repayments and be aware of increases and how that will decrease your cash flow and profit margins. So there's those two things as well. You may consider, if the interest rates are increasing, to go with a fixed rate because you feel that they're going to continue to increase. So that's an opportunity for you to fix your interest rate at a certain level and not have to be worrying about it increasing in the future. That does mean that you are going to be paying a little bit more at the beginning, but it may actually be a good thing if they've gone up, 2% over that period that you've got yours fixed at. And also remember, that you've got the opportunity to refinance. Like, you have to look at these things because you can get some really good advantages by changing banks. And I know our generation was very loyal to a particular bank, but that, I think, has changed a lot. You need to take advantage of it, because you might be using X and then you find out if you use Y, you might save yourself half a point, 0.5% reduction by changing, or even a 1% reduction in your interest rate. So make sure you look at your refinancing options.
No, very good. Fantastic. Look, if you've got any questions about the risks associated with investment properties, or just investment properties in general, please contact Joanne here at One Agency JD Property Agents in Fairy Meadow. So thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next video.